just gonna stand here and see if the sound works. It'll be about 30 seconds before I know that. How is everyone? Tired? Okay. So am I. Hi gang, we're going to be live streaming this for a few people who couldn't make it today, as well as recording it, so we'll be posting it on the GroupMe. It's also going to be a reference recording for the week for anyone who might be confused about the process in general. We'll get going. Does anyone know where Mr. Lees is? He's making his way over. We'll wait for him to get going. Yeah, I heard. But I had a few requests to live stream, and maybe I just didn't record that. Oh, there's my bald head on the recording. I'm going to turn that off because it's going to turn into a feedback loop of weird. Just give me 1 minute, Abby. So to save time, I'm going to get going without Mr. Lees, and then when he gets here, we can probably work on learning some music. Welcome to the first meeting of The Sound of Music. It's a small group here today, but I've already been told a lot of people are going to be here this week, so a lot of people also told me they couldn't make the meeting today for whatever reason, and I'm working on the messaging going over to Macaulay. Today's meeting, some of you might find it redundant information, but I do want to just give as much information as possible, especially for those of you who might not be as used to auditioning for an upper school musical. Seems like everyone here is. I'm not sure if everyone watching at home is. So let's get going. Let's start with the creative and supportive teams. So this is already a huge group of people working on this. Ellie, you saw this on Saturday, but I've expanded it since then. So we have a pretty huge group of people who are already behind the scenes making things happen. Myself, Mr. Lees, Ms. Byers, Ms. Sarah Pearson, if some of you remember her, she's going to be conducting our orchestra. Before COVID hit, she was also supposed to have a gig conducting over at, I believe, Carnegie Hall in New York. Jessica McHouston is coming back to be our choreographer. Our longtime designer of lights and other things, Alex Miller-Long, will be back for this production. Brenda Schwab will be costume designing. We actually just had a conversation about that this weekend. Brian McCutcheon, several of you might know him. He's our sound engineer and soundboard op. Miss Kathy Cash is going to come on board because Miss McHouston can only be here certain days of the week, and Miss Cash is going to come in and help us with dance aiding and quality control of choreography. Miss Heather Hammond will be here. She's a GPS parent and will be assisting me as well. David Hammond, her husband, and another GPS parent will be heading up set construction for us. Taylor Boyd will be working lightboard because Alex Miller-Long can't be here the days of the production. Mike, we're live streaming. That's why we're in here. Sorry for miscommunication. She'll also, Taylor, they will also be working on mic assistance, helping apply microphones to each actor. Ellie Fivas is our assistant director directly. Ella Harris is not here today because Ella had an orthodontist appointment, is our stage manager. And I couldn't possibly list everyone on here. It's only one screen, and I'm not even sure if you guys can see it over there. But we have other parent volunteers, other artists, and GPS staff. So this is already a huge company, even before we get to the cast. This is a cast, depending on how you read it, either 20 to 28 titled characters. So those of you who are a part of the production 2 years ago, and I should say, for those of you who might not know, we were in the middle of rehearsals for The Sound of Music 2 years ago when COVID struck. We were 70% through principal staging when we got, well, like everything else, shut down. But these are all the roles in the show, plus I think Ms. Schwab and Ms. Jessica McHouston and maybe even Mike, you might hate me for this. But the Lonely Goat Herd Dancers, I had a fanciful dream of turning that into a huge, elaborate, ridiculous dance. So it seems like we're going to go along and do that. But these are all of the roles in the show, period. And it is a huge show to cast. And those last few categories, male chorus, female chorus, waltz dancers, Lonely Goat Herd dancers, and possibly additional 5 terpsichore dancers. I've been speaking with Julia Combs, Gracie Felker, Mary Catherine Cleland, who helped us out with the fall show to come back on board and help us out by dancing in this, possibly bringing on a couple others. So the company so far is 28 in that list, titled characters, 16 current creative team members. In the end, this might end up being 50 to 70 full company members, which is everyone working on the show, including technicians, including actors, and God knows what else. We might be above 70. So this is going to be a huge show. The spring show is always the biggest show. And for those of you unaware, this is the second largest stage in all of Chattanooga. I like saying that just for fun. So, some important dates. We've already had the middle school, elementary school auditions. Mr. Lees, how'd it go on Saturday for us, you think? Great, Mike says. A lot of talented young people. We had 24 young people show up. That was a lot more than 2 years ago, and we're not done seeing them yet. They are coming tomorrow and Wednesday, the ones who couldn't make it Saturday. So we're already, at least in terms of the younger cast, way above where we were. And it's making me think of where we might be able to even take a couple extra on board, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Today's the work session where you guys will learn music. We have the general audition and on Tuesday and Wednesday, and if you're not familiar with what a general audition is or a callback, I'm going to go over that today, especially for those at home. Callbacks will go Thursday, Friday, and Monday and Tuesday if we need them. Most likely, I will use them. We'll probably need to see a few last combinations of people, but again, I will get to that. Casting is announced Wednesday. We're taking the day off on Wednesday because Mr. Lees and I want to take a day off. And we want a day off to announce casting and be happy and rest before we go right into reading Act 1 on Thursday of next week and then Act 2 on Friday. And then for 2 weeks, you belong to Mr. Lees learning the music of the show. Going on from there, you might be asking additional dates. We're going to go over all of this. Saturday rehearsals are March 12th, 19th, April 9th. Call times will stagger. Tech Week is April 11th through 21st. I have a full calendar later in this presentation I will show you. Performances are the third weekend in April, I believe. Is that right, Ellie? Third weekend. Strike will be the days of April 24th after the matinee performance and 27th if necessary. I would rather not have 2 days of strike. Cast party will be the night of April 23rd in the Bend following the performance. But again, this is all for later. I just want to present it up front. And I will present, I'll also post this to the GroupMe, this whole presentation. So if you guys need to go through it, you can. So we're at auditions. PowerPoint makes everyone look smart. Initial calls. It's the first step in the audition process. It allows the director and music director. I'm the director of the production. Mr. Lees is the music director. He oversees the music entirely for the show. I oversee everything from thematic styling to staging, etc. I work alongside him, our choreographer, and other development and creative team to fully stage the show. Miss Byers acts more like our producer, overseeing even more than that. The initial call allows us to evaluate an actor's vocal and acting abilities. Usually, I think this time we are simply going to hear you sing, so you might see something listed in this. It was from something I prepared years ago, but I probably won't see people read for the first call, mostly because I also know everyone's work, and we simply need to hear vocal types and abilities. We will work first with actors in large groups to teach them the songs, as we will today, and then move them out of the Frierson to see them one at a time. What you'll need to do, you only need to come to one day of the initial calls. This has been a question I've gotten repeatedly in the last few days. You only need to come one day. So if you want to learn the music today and knock out your audition today, you don't have to come Tuesday or Wednesday. You are free to hang out, do whatever you want, but you don't have to come audition again. Callbacks start Thursday. Be prepared to stay for about 5 minutes for a time slot. It's rare, but we do tend to sometimes keep people beyond 5 minutes. It's when we've got some goofy ideas. Time slots are first come, first served, so get here early. I do take special circumstances into account. If you need to get out of here, please simply let me, Mr. Lees, Ella Harris, or Ellie Fivas know, or Miss Hammond, she'll be around too. Please wear anything you want, but make sure it is neat and appropriate, also comfortable. You don't have to wear anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. Fill out the audition information form, which we'll get to. Have sheet music with you that we will have today. Ellie Fivas has it all with her right now. Not necessary for this audition, a side of text, which is simply a cutting of text for a character. This is only going to be in the callbacks. We're trying to save time for ourselves because we have a lot of considerations. Directors might ask you to sing the song again or the text with a different intention or adjustment. About that, the only wrong thing to do in that situation is to say no. That is the only wrong thing you can do. The best you can do always, and it is always the best to say yes, do it to the best of your abilities, go home and have a Coke and a smile. It's also an opportunity for the actor to ask any questions, so make sure to have some questions ready. If you've never auditioned and you have some questions, if you want feedback, normally in a professional setting you wouldn't get that, but if you guys want feedback on the spot about what to work on, we'll give it to you. If you want feedback about other stuff, please ask. Keep it limited to just a couple of questions, maybe 2 or 3 tops, but you're free to ask questions. I don't want you walking in there terrified. So, initial calls, female roles. You're going to be singing My Favorite Things, measure 117 through 150. Mr. Lee's already on the group me caught that we put in way too many measures in our document last time for the male roles. It is measures number 5 through 36. We are not insane. Kids roles, do, re, mi. It is measure 100 to the end, but we'll probably not have you sing that in the initial call if you are watching this and singing for one of the Von Trapp roles. But that is the measures we will be probably eventually covering completely in the call back. Does that make sense to everyone? Cool. Any questions so far? Neat. Callbacks. It's the second step in the audition process. Sorry, I was trying to set up my monitor so I could see my notes, but it's not working today. Allows the director and music director to have actors sing and read for various individual roles. So we will be calling you back to read for some roles, specific ones. Allows the director to see the synergy between actors, or what some other people might call chemistry, whatever that invisible thing is, as well as evaluate mixed harmonies, actor dedication, etc. Yes, we are measuring dedication in the auditions. I don't want to speak for her, but Ellie Fivas just played Lizzie in Pride and Prejudice. Ellie, did I run, all 3 of you, Arushi, Sasha, did I run you guys through the grinder during the final callbacks for those auditions? Yes, Arushi says in a tone of voice with dark accusing eyes at me. Never. So we don't want to traumatize you, but it is something we will be testing you in it. We will be seeing what you can do. We might be pushing you to the lengths of your, the heights of your vocal range, but we will not be seeking to push you beyond the brink. What you'll need to do, be prepared to come in multiple days. This is the one where you need to make sure your calendar's as free as possible on Thursday, Friday, and I would even say Monday and Tuesday, just in case. we will not know which, I left out the word no. We will not know which days you need to be here until the end of each day of callbacks. Be prepared to stay from 3:45 to 5:50 p.m. each day this week of callbacks. We might release you earlier. Odds are we will. But please be prepared once callbacks start. If you're called, if you get released early, it's a luxury. Time slots are not designated, as the directors at this stage need time to mix various roles together, and sometimes we just need to explore ideas that present themselves to us in the very moment. I'm sure many of you have auditioned with me or Mr. Lees before, can attest to you've been called for something and then we threw something out of the blue at you and you went, what is going on? We had an idea. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's both of us agree it's a terrible idea on both the actors and the director's part, and we go, hey, that didn't work. Other times we're like, hey, we're running with that. So that's a part of this process. I just want to be completely open about that. Please wear anything you want, but make sure it is neat and appropriate unless it is the dance call, and I'll get to that. Have all the sheet music with you for all the roles you are called in for, as well as the sides of text for the characters you are called to read. So you're going to be carrying a lot of paper, and I advise you not to have it on your phone because paper doesn't need a battery. It's a very odd audition when someone says, can I plug in my phone? And I'm going, what? Where are you going to be auditioning from? The wall? It is, again, an opportunity for the actor to ask questions. Again, those of you who auditioned with me, did I leave it open for you in callbacks to ask questions or make requests? It is appropriate. We will talk about during callbacks where it is and isn't appropriate, but it is always appropriate to ask me, even if you want to read for a role that I didn't call you back for, if you want to try it out and you say, hey, could I please have one read through for that? I usually grant it, time depending. Do I have all the oh, and I think that's it. So let's go to the dance call. Actually, for us, these are initial dance calls. They're not actually callbacks. It allows the choreographer to meet and get to know actors as dancers and evaluate your abilities. And I think Jessica told me she can be here Thursday this week, so everyone is probably going to be called Thursday. So everyone should be prepared to be here the whole time, no matter what. Actors are given simple dance combinations and the choreographer takes notes on your abilities. She might even ask questions about your background. Several of you probably know Miss McHouston well already. Several of you might be going, who? But that's what will be happening. What you'll need to do, be prepared to come on the one day we are doing these. Please be here. It is one day Miss McHouston can be here to help us with this and to evaluate it. It helps us get a huge start on where we can place people, what their abilities are, and what we can do. Again, be prepared to stay the whole time on those days you are called. Please wear something you can move in comfortably. Something athletic would benefit you. I've had people come up to me and go, oh, I'm in slacks and like dress shoes. What do I do? I went, well, you're going to a dance call like that. Best of luck. It's going to be like Gene Kelly. And again, it's an opportunity for the actor to ask any questions. So maybe prepare some if you have any questions for Miss McHouston. Auditions should be final callbacks up there. There it goes. Oh, I didn't fix this one. I've got to click through all of it. Let me go back one. Final callbacks. It's the final step in the audition process. The amount of actors is much more limited, allows the director or music director to have actors sing and read for various individual roles, and in more nuanced combinations with other actors, allows the actors to directors to solidify casting, as well as understudy considerations. Yes, the understudy thing worked out really well for us in Pride and Prejudice. It helped us keep going when someone was either sick or couldn't make it that day, or was called out for meetings for college or whatnot, which I anticipate happening this spring. So we are going to use understudies again. These could be one day, but they could be multiple days. This also depends on the fact that we are auditioning children who are, you guys are children, but we're all auditioning elementary school children. So we're at the behest of their parents, their schedules, so we might have to shift things around depending on them. What you'll need to be prepared to do, really be prepared to stay the entire time. Please wear anything you want, but again, I just want to repeat this. Make sure it is neat and appropriate, unless it is the dance call. Have all the sheet music with you for all the roles you are called in for, as well as the sides for the characters you are called to read. Again, it is an opportunity for you to ask questions. Auditions. Understudy. In theater, an understudy, referred to in opera as a cover or covering, is a performer who learns the lines and blocking or choreography of a regular actor, actress, or other performer in a play. For our purposes, this is what our understudies will be doing, plus standing in for absent actors during rehearsals. So technically, if the role you're covering is called, you will be called. If we know the primary actor will be there, we will release you and try to know that ahead of time. Does that make sense? We don't want to waste anyone's time, but it is always probably the second viewing of the scene when the understudy will find it most beneficial to be there. Those of you who are in Pride and Prejudice, we talked about this, and I'm trying to restructure it so it's a little less stressful this time. This is what I need all of you to fill out. It's the audition form, and if you filled out the first one, it was a mistake on my part, but really it's this part that's really important. It's the photo. So if I don't know you or Mr. Lees doesn't know you, and Mr. Lees hasn't been teaching this year, he's let go of that, and Miss Tally has taken over his classes. We're really grateful we still have Mr. Lees here to do music direction for us. So thanks, Mike, for doing that again. But this part is really important because there is a whole new generation coming up that Mr. Lees might not know, and with COVID, I might not know. Is your name Jack again? Jack. I met Jack today. Jack Rogers came. He's our other Jack. There's our other Jack. Hi, Jack. Jackie boy. Sorry, he's Jackie boy. We'll have to come up with a nickname for you. But Jack, considering you're wearing a mask today and I have no idea what you look like, we'll need you to fill that form out. I think you already did, if I saw correctly. No? I'm wrong then. I thought that might be another Rogers. We just need you to upload your photo. If you filled out the first form, just fill this one out with your name and contact information and put the photo up there. I will get the information off the first form. It doesn't matter to me. Here's the GroupMe information. If you're not in the GroupMe, you can scan that QR code right now and you will be taken to the GroupMe app and it will put you in there, but I'm assuming everyone in this room's already on there. Sweet. I will also post the one for anyone listening at home because I've had a couple questions about tech. I will post the one for the tech group, which will also be involved heavily with the production. This is the calendar. Ellie Fivas, let's thank her for putting this together. She put all the information in one spot. I don't know if everyone can see, but you can already see we're in the second week of that calendar. We are on January 10th. General auditions, callbacks. No school on Monday. I keep forgetting that. Thank you for putting that, Ellie. So we only have 18th as a callback, which I think will be used. So casting might be announced as early as the evening of January 18th or the morning, afternoon of January 19th. Then we are in the read-throughs, and then we are in musical rehearsals, which is just music rehearsals. Then by February 7th, we start staging rehearsals. We do that. We have the winterim break, so we lose a week of rehearsals, as we always do due to winterim. We're back. Dance rehearsals will actually be on Thursdays instead of Tuesdays. March is where things get very interesting for us. There's no school on the 18th, there's no school on the 24th, and then we're in spring break on the 25th. So that last week, those last 3 days before we break are full staging rehearsals. It's my goal, because 2 years ago we were at 70% the day we went into spring break. With a bit of foreknowledge into how we stage things, we are reusing some of the choreography from 2 years ago. It's my goal to have the show fully staged by March 21st. So we can run March 22nd and 23rd, because April gets even more interesting. Spring break cuts into that first week of April right there. We're in dance rehearsal actually on that. That is our last week to rehearse. And if you notice, our tech falls in a very interesting Easter weekend. We lose Good Friday, we lose that Saturday and Sunday. But we have April 9th, and that is a Saturday you cannot miss. That is our first rehearsal with the orchestra. That is when they are doing the sitz probe. They are figuring out everything with us together. It is a very intense rehearsal. That is also why I want the show fully staged prior to April 9th. I don't like hearing about the old days where you guys were staging the show, I don't know, April 21st. So we're not going to do that. Those 2 weeks are going to be important, and we really need to be on the ball. Then we have the performances, cast party, strike if needed on the 27th, and then we're done. Because I came back from winter break and found my email box full of like somewhere between 100 to 150 emails, I begged IT to make me a new email address for the show alone. It's going to be springmusical@gps.edu. Several of you probably have already seen that on the GroupMe. But GroupMe, that email address, those are going to be the primary ways to contact me about the show. Those of you who are in classes with me or my advisees or whatever, if you have other questions, you can always write to me, grab me, whatever. Again, that's the QR code. I think that's it. Yep, that's it. Any questions about any of that? Arushi. If we're online or potentially online for 2 weeks, how will that affect us? No idea yet. These are all things that are right now in the pipeline of planning. We'll see. I have to have a few meetings about that. So once again, like 2 years ago, it's fluid. So we're going to see. Ainsley. I reposted it in the GroupMe. Are you a member of that already? It should be in there, but I'll repost it today as well. Are we going to wear masks in the show? No clue, because it's January right now. I would hope we're out of them by April. That's my hope. Ellie. The question was, just so everyone at home can hear, sports are allowed to go maskless. Would we be able to go maskless? I actually know the full answer to this now. The TSSA, I think it is, the athletics commission that runs high school sports, has separate regulations from the school and dictums, so they not only allow it, but I think enforce that during play they don't wear them. It's something that is out of the hands of administration, so they always err on the side of safety. Let me try and be completely open and frank. We're talking about every contingency, from being prepared to come up with contingency plans, which we're still trying to come up with. And again, I can't make any promises of this. There have been discussions about doing this outside. So we're talking about everything under the sun just to figure it out. We're going to see what the end result is of all of that. I would much rather do it in here on the Frierson. But again, I'm sorry to give the same answer of I don't know. But I do know the reason why it is that way now. And it's because of a separate governing body that runs something else other than us. So, any other questions? How's everybody? Are you excited? Cool. Just a few more things. If you're a parent and you're watching, or if you guys who are present here, your parents want to be involved, please, please, please tell them to contact myself or Miss Byers. We are looking for parent volunteers. We've had some incredible ones the last few years. Miss Tammy Combs helped us out again this fall, and a bunch of others who were involved with it. Tammy was actually, I forget the title, which is helping to coordinate parent volunteers for us, along with Miss Henderson. Yeah, that's right. I'm saying her last name right. Henderson or Joanna? What was? Henry. My God, I saw the Hendersons the other day, and it's infected my brain. Miss Henry. Sorry, it's been a weird weekend. So we're looking for more parent volunteers. We're going to need a bunch to work backstage, also because this is going to be a pretty costume-heavy show. Some costumes will be very light for people, but you know, the Von Trapp kids are getting into clothes that look like shades. Maria changes every other scene, I think. So this and that goat herd dance, Brenda Schwab might want to hurt me for what I want to do in that one. So there might be a lot of costume changes there. So please, 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 we are going to need the help of your parents. Does anyone else have any questions? And if not, I can turn you over to Mr. Lees so you guys can learn some music. I want to say to all of you, and I'll check in with all of you before we go today, I do want to say, if you do want to be seen today, and knock out your audition, we'll do it. If you don't want to be seen today and you want to take some time, take the music home and learn it and get familiar and more comfortable with it, or if you want to, and Mr. Lees can verify if this is okay, if you want to record Mr. Lees playing your music on your phone, it'd be best if everyone did that at the same time with their phone so you can take it home and work with you. People have done that before for the auditions. Please, please, please do that. If you're at home and watching this, what would help us a lot if you aren't here to learn the music today would be if you came in at the very beginning of audition so we could have a group of people come in, learn the song from Mr. Lees as one giant group, and then step outside of the Frierson, as we said earlier. So please get here on time at 3:45. Macaulay's out at 3 o'clock this week, right? You have no idea. Cool. It ends at 3 because of tea term, right? Wonderful, wonderful tea term. All right, I'm going to hand you guys off to Mr. Lees. Those of you at home, thank you for watching. Thanks, guys.